Greetings, gun enthusiasts. I promised a viewer a ballistic test that I almost forgot about, involving two different Underwood 38 special loads from the short barrel Ruger LCR. And these are the two loads in question, which I've previously tested separately, but this viewer wanted them tested back to back in the same gel block. Now what we have behind us is a 20-inch gel column, and a bonus round will be entered, Buffalo Bore 158 grain, and all three of those rounds are currently loaded in the Ruger LCR. Now, I've only put up 2 layers of heavy denim for this. I've tested all 3 rounds in 4 layers of heavy denim, and they do just fine. But since 2 of these rounds are the 158 grain lead hollow point semi-wadcutter style, I decided to go for 2 rounds of heavy denim, and it is my new crisp 14-ounce denim. Typically I shoot with 13-ounce denim, but I ran out of that and found a good deal on 14-ounce denim. And I just want to get a little bit better idea of how those 158 grain loads expand and penetrate under more ideal conditions. Probably have to reposition after each shot. That was the Underwood Gold Dot, and as usual, it penetrated the full 13.5 inches, as expected, I should say. Now I'm going to have to aim a little bit lower in the block with the subsequent rounds. Next one is the other Underwood. The 158 grain. See how that one did. Wow, that did really, really well. Also penetrating close to the entire length of the block. Not quite as deep as the Gold Dot, but you can definitely see, line that up at the start of the block. There's the 13-inch mark. It came close to 13 inches, full expansion. Both rounds so far have expanded, and expanded quite well. Now it's going to be a little challenging to fit. This block I can fit 5 rounds of 380 in, but it's going to be a little challenging to fit the Buffalo Bore in. I think I'm going to go for a tricky straight across the bottom shot with the Buffalo Bore, which means I'll probably have to bring the denim across like this, just to make sure. Yeah, no, there's no way. I couldn't even flip the block over and do better. Just to get, yeah, okay, got both layers on there. To try to center that exactly where I wanted. Hoofta. All right, well, I've got more rounds, so if I miss or something, it's not a big deal. I just don't want to hit the other 2. Woo! That Buffalo Bore is a smoky round. And yeah, I actually did it perfectly. Now we'll take and measure those guys. Hopefully my cinematography is acceptable, because I would hate to have to do this test twice. I am going to holster the LCR, which is now empty, and I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to police my empties, and then I'm going to zoom in on the gel block to show you guys exactly how those functioned. Here you can see in the immediate foreground the Underwood 158 grain Semi-Wadcutter hollow point. And shoot, I'm gonna have to invert. You know what? I'm gonna lay this down like this. I'm gonna lay the gel block down. All right, now that I've got this approximately how I want it, so you can see I'm measuring correctly. The other gel block's out of the way. All right, now that I have the gel block properly positioned, you can see with the 2-layer denim test, all 3 rounds easily penetrated to 12 inches. And in fact, the Underwood Gold Dot round is protruding from the back of the 13.5-inch gel block. Did slight damage to the surface of this one. But there is the 158 grain Underwood Semi-Wadcutter hollow point. And down below it, in the block, is the Buffalo Bore 158 grain Semi-Wadcutter hollow point. And now I will dig those out and compare the expansion. Unsurprisingly, the Buffalo Bore right here exhibits the widest expansion, although the Underwood 158 grain Semi-Wadcutter round is very close behind. And even the Gold Dot, the 125 grain Underwood loaded Gold Dot, is not that far behind on expansion. But you can kind of understand why these rounds perform the ways they do. All 3 of these rounds, again, surpassing 12 inches of penetration through a 2-layer denim barrier, and all 3 obviously expanding excessively. All 3 of these rounds will pass a 4-layer denim barrier, but I kind of wanted to get a real good baseline on what they're supposed to do. The Buffalo Bore is obviously designed not to penetrate much beyond the 12-inch mark. The Underwood, the Underwood 158 grain, I'm not really sure what it's supposed to do. Maybe that high-tech coating on it results in a little bit more, or a little bit delayed, a slightly delayed expansion relative to the Buffalo Bore. Or maybe the swagged lead isn't quite as pure. Maybe they do have some antimony or something in there. But the modern Gold Dot hollow point projectile is obviously extremely good at penetrating and expands big enough. All right, folks, once again, that was my test of the Buffalo Bore 158 grain hollow point and the Underwood 158 grain high-tech coated hollow point, not the hard cast Keith load. I just noticed I have them in the wrong box, actually. And in the correct box, the 125 grain Gold Dot jacketed hollow point, loaded by Underwood. Thank you. Geography Czar out.